Congratulations, you made it to May half term. Hi, it's Martin. I hope you're well. I'm doing one of my famous check-ins. So, you know that I love to, every school holiday, I love to check in with my fellow parents, see how things are going. You know, I'm passionate about helping, especially parents, get that balance between the work they do and family time and spending time with your children. And we're now going into the final, the last half term of their academic year. This is literally the grand finale of their academic year. For your children, this is their year. Calendar year, yeah, still got plenty of months. But for them, this has been a long, hard roller coaster of an academic year, which is now coming to an end. And they're exhausted. You're probably exhausted. We've got one half term left. Last check-in that we did, it was Easter. And I said, do you remember when I said between Easter and the summer holidays is so important? And it's such an amazing opportunity because you can get all the strategies and the blueprints and the frameworks and all the tactics and everything to help you take control of your work and your time and then spend more time with your family. So be it more involved, be it taking them to school, picking them up from school, after school club stuff, being there for homework, being there for the ups and downs of all the, the relationship, friendship groups, all of that kind of stuff, the assemblies, the sporting events. We're going into the last half term. We got sports day. Man, what a great day that is. We've got, if your children are coming to the end of primary school, you're going to have leavers plays, amazing. Award ceremonies. You're going to have leavers trips. There's going to be other school trips, some really cool ones that happened in this last half term. So there's so much to get involved in that's really, really positive. I mean, for sports day, for example, our two boys now have grown out of that time when we get invited to sports days. You only get invited to so many. Make the most of it. We used to show up en masse as a family. The house they were in, their colour was purple. We'd dress in purple. We had banners and placards. We'd be cheering and screaming and encouraging, not just our child, but the whole house. We had a massive reputation for being the cheerleaders, right? We were actively involved. I know some of you are like, oh, whatever, God, that must have been so embarrassing. No. We made those days. The teachers looked forward to us being there to bring that energy. The kids loved us being there. Kids that are now grown up, they still come to us and they still talk about that. They weren't embarrassed. They remember it. You've got an opportunity to make memories about this, not just with your child, but for everything that they encompass, their world. Step into their world for a moment and be amazing. You have these amazing opportunities. On the flip side, this last half term, for some of our children, we're talking tests. We're talking exams. Maybe some are mocks. Maybe some are just to assess things. But some are final exams. So this can actually be, whilst one half of the coin, it's like, there's all this excitement that we can get involved in and that they can get involved in. On the other side, it can be pretty darn stressful. So whether we want to be there for the exciting stuff, or absolutely there for the stressful stuff, this is the opportunity to be there. And the message really here is, if this is something you've struggled with all academic year, you now have only one half term to make at least some kind of difference to that. I know you're busy. I know you're leaders, you're managers, you're business owners, and you're busy. You've got accountability and responsibility and numbers and people. And I get it. I truly get it. I spent 20 years in the corporate world, managing, leading. I've been a business owner now for a good number of years. I know what it's like. But if you don't take control of the work and your time, the work will take control of you and your time for you. And so if this has been a struggle, you've still got a half a term to kind of just salvage some of this and to still go into then the school holidays, the summer holidays, feeling a little calmer, a little more confident, a little bit more in control. this is what this next half term represents. And I just encourage you to step back during this half term holiday and just reflect on it and look at what you want to be doing better. So get honest about where you're at and then get clear about, well, what kind of actively involved parent would you like to be? And I'm not saying be involved in absolutely everything, but I'm just saying if there's this niggling doubt in you that, man, I wish I was around more for my kids, now's a great time just to step back and say, right, I could work on this and this. Maybe just pick one or two things to improve on in this next half term that could make all the difference. But I get it. And you might have seen a video that I shared recently from one of my mentors, Tony Robbins. And he talked about the 3 Ps. So when we feel stuck, because I know what this feels like, when you're that leader, you're managing, you're a business owner, you've got a lot on your mind, there's a lot of pressure. I get it. But what we can start feeling is feeling stuck. And we start accepting that, we start telling ourselves this story that, well, to be the leader, the manager, the business owner in this company, in this industry, with these people, with these responsibilities, on this salary, with, just add as many reasons as possible, right? In order for me to be that, this has to be sacrificed. I can't spend the time with my family that I really would like to because I'm this. I'm here to tell you from the absolute bottom of my heart and every fiber in my body, it's not true. It's just a story that you've made up. What is true is you just don't have the tools and the strategies to make that happen. And Tony in the 3 Ps video said, when we feel like this, when we feel stuck, there are 3 things that tend to come out. See if these resonate with you. Firstly, we think that the problem, the situation is permanent. So we start telling ourselves that story and we've tried to make it work, but it hasn't. And then we just go, well, you know what? It's because I'm a leader, a manager, a business owner. I can't be in 2 places at the same time. I can't have all this responsibility and have the balance. And you make it a permanent thing where you then, even if somebody comes and says, hey, there's a way around this, there's a way that you can look at things differently, just like I do, you still don't take up that opportunity and that offer because you've made the problem and the situation permanent. No, can't be done. Says who? I know it's possible. So making something permanent when it's absolutely not permanent, and trust me, from somebody who made the most permanent decision in life because I thought my situation was permanent and there was nothing else that I could do, trust me that is just a story. Yet it took one conversation to save my life in that situation. So if it's right in that situation, trust me, it's right when you're just trying to get some balance between work and family. It's not permanent, but just have a little think. Have you made this permanent? Are you telling yourself it's not possible? I'm here to tell you it is possible. The second P in the 3 Ps is you make it pervasive. What the heck does that mean? Yeah, I even had to look it up. Right? It's not a word that I would use. But it means that you take one element of your life and you say, well, this sucks. This isn't going how I want it to. And you just catastrophize and you make everything, your whole life, like, oh, life's just not working out. And all of a sudden your health's not where it wants to be, and your relationships and your family and your work and your finances. And like you then start saying everything's bad. Everything's not how you want it. It's also permanent, so you can't even change it. That is a really miserable place to be. And I've been there and I know how miserable that is, right? And I'm living proof of the fact that you can come out the other side of that. So that's not true either. There's plenty for you to be grateful for. There's plenty of positives that you can focus on. And there's plenty of things you can focus on that can be small shifts that make all the difference. The third P is you make it personal. Because what happens is we have this situation, we've made it permanent. Oh no, it's not possible. I can't be the leader, the manager, the business owner with all these responsibilities in this kind of industry, doing what I do and have this family life as well as I would ideally, I would like. I can't have that. And then you start feeling bad about the rest of your life eventually. But you then also start looking at people. You start looking at other leaders, other managers, other business owners. And you start seeing that actually they do have some balance. Now, I'm not talking about the Instagram life where, behind the scenes, they don't have all their shizzle together, right? Nobody does. But you might notice that they leave a little earlier and they come in and they talk about the fact that they went to their son's football game, or they were at the dancing classes and the performance with their daughter, or that they attended sports day. Or they were one of the helpers on one of the school trips. Man, I loved doing that. That was great fun. You start picking up on all these things that these other people that have kind of got the same sorts of responsibilities as you, they're doing, but you're not. So then we make it personal. We then start thinking, geez, well, it must be me then. I guess I'm not good enough. I guess maybe I'm just faking this. Your confidence and self-esteem then starts to plummet, because now you've made it personal, because you can see that actually other people do. This permanent situation you've created, it starts having holes, but instead of going, this has got holes, I can do something about this, you go, this has got holes, it must be me. And trust me, I spent way too many years thinking I was not good enough, when I was more than good enough. I just needed some new guidance. I needed some new perspective to help me see things and do things differently. The 3 Ps during this May half term, give the 3 Ps some thought. If you've been struggling with this whole balance between work and your family life, you've got one half term to make a go of it, to have a grand finale, to really be there if you haven't already. But have a little think about, have you got a permanent story in your head about this can't be done? You can't have that balance. You can't be that flexible. You can't be that involved. Has it started creeping into other areas of your life and you're starting to not feel so great about other things? Are you having those thoughts about, maybe it's me, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I can't cope? What the heck am I doing? What if they find out? Oh, God. It's a simple framework, but man, is it powerful when we actually step back and we start looking at it and looking at through the lenses of those 3 Ps, and then see what we're doing that kind of fuels that. And if we've got somebody here saying, oh, that's just not true, I just kind of hope that you can then see sense and say, well, maybe I just need some more information. Maybe I need that new perspective, that new guidance. And the people that I've worked with, they're familiar with my work leadership model. Because I'm sure that you've had plenty of leadership training, management training, plenty of business training, technical training, right? To get to where you are, you've had probably a lot of support on that. But in that, and without doing the survey, already know the answer, like 99.9% of people on that kind of training, they are not shown how to look at work and their role at work differently. Step 1 of the work leadership model that I created, mindset. If you think you're there to do everything, get everything done on the list, and all by last Friday, we need to shift that mindset, because that's not what you're there for at all. Even though you've probably got a permanent story about that's why you were there, it's not. Little clue, you're there to make the biggest difference, be it in your business or somebody else's. You can't do that if you're running around like a headless chicken trying to get everything done all at the same time, all by last Friday. You can't do it. That's why you feel so frazzled. Step 1, mindset. That ain't taught on leadership training, management training, and the technical training. Let alone the fact that step 2, looking at your workload, how do you actually approach your workload? If you're lucky, you might have had a Eisenhower matrix thrown at you and gone, well, just mark down the stuff that's important and urgent and that you can delegate and that you can get rid of. But nobody actually tells you what the questions are to ask of every task, every meeting, so that you can use that effectively. Because there is more to it. And used effectively with the right questions, you can narrow 97 things down to just 3 things in a day. But are you taught that? No. And if you've got that far, so you're looking at work and your role at work slightly differently, which leads you to want to reduce the amount of work that you're doing to focus on the biggest difference, your natural inclination is then, how do I do it with time? Right. So focus your time. But how do you focus your time without distraction, without interruptions, without multitasking? One of my favorite myths to bust. How do you do it? Do they teach that in your leadership training, your management training, your new business training, your technical training? No. Let alone the fact that after that, then you look at your habits and you go, right, what are my daily habits, my daily routines that keeps my energy up, keeps me positive, keeps me focused, keeps me on track, keeps me on point, keeps me balanced and keeps my boundaries intact so that, yeah, I do an amazing job at work, make an even bigger difference in less hours, and I spend this amazing quality time with my family. What are the habits that you need to build in order to make that happen? And what's then the compound effect of you making just small shifts, small changes, not doing everything all at the same time, but just small shifts in these things, and the compound effect of it just transforming the quality of your life, the quality of your work and the quality of your family life. They don't teach you this. And it's almost like you've got to fall over and burn out before you really get some of this information. Well, I don't want that for you. That's why I share it. That's why I share this abundantly. That's why I'm showing up for you today. It's not permanent, it's not pervasive, and it's not personal. You just haven't been taught the things, the tools, the strategies, the ways to sort this out. That's all it is. If you want to get better at email marketing, you go and speak to the email marketing person. For me, that's like Frank Kern, right? I just go straight to the best. So if you've got this kind of situation, who do you go to? You go to somebody with the lived experience that can actually help you, that kind of knows how it feels, and I've got all the tools and strategies that can help you. So this half term, I'm so passionate about this because of my journey, and I know where it led, and I nearly lost everything. And I'm not saying you're going to end up at that point, but I tell you what, there's a heck of a lot of misery before you even reach anywhere near that point. And I don't want that for you. You're better than that. So look, spend some time this half term just reflecting. If there's things that you want to improve, if you want to get a bit more in control of your workload, if you want to have more time with your family, being more actively involved, there absolutely is a way. But just stand back, have a look. Are you making the situation permanent? Are you catastrophizing it, making it pervasive? Are you starting to have some doubts about you, making it personal? And do you really have the tools and strategies about mindset, how to look at work and your role at work, how to approach your workload to get it reduced down to the 3 things that are going to make the biggest difference? Have you got the tools and strategies so that you can actually focus your time to actually get those things done? Have you got the tools and strategies to build the habits that are going to help you with this, both at work and with your family, and you feeling a heck of a lot happier and healthier every single day? Have you got all of that? If you haven't got all that, that's why I'm here. And even if you don't come to me for help, you're aware of that now. But if you've got this far in the video, I really encourage you, look at these things. And if you figure out that you really just need a little bit more guidance, you need a little bit more support to figure this out, to get back in control, there's still time to end this academic year really strongly, making you feel really great. Going into the summer holidays calmer, more confident, more in control. That's a godsend, because then you'll go on holiday and you won't wait until week 2 of your holiday to just start relaxing. You'll be able to be more calm and confident going straight in from minute 1. But also, if you're in another business that is performance reviews, you're going to start shifting how you're looking at things, approaching things differently. You're going to have that traction. You're going to have that evidence for your half year review. Let alone the fact, the big focus being you could be actively involved more so with your children at school. Like I said, depending on what age they're at, there's some really cool, exciting, fun stuff to get involved in. And there's also some stressful stuff that they're going to need your support with. That's the message. That's the May half-term message. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to share with you. I'm rooting for you. I'm here for you because I have lived and breathed this. When it's gone horribly wrong and I've lost all perspective and it's got out of control, and also bringing it all back to getting back in control. And I've got more responsibility and accountability than I've ever had. I've got more things on my plate than I ever have. And yet I've never felt more in control, more calm, more confident, more balanced. I just want a little bit of that for you too. So if that sounds like you want some support, if after all of this soul searching, you think you need that little bit of support, if some of those things I've talked about, you go, yeah, I would like a bit of that, Martin. What is that mindset thing? How do I shift that? How do I look at my workload differently? How do I focus my time? What's that all about? And what are you talking about? Habits, Martin. If that's of interest to you so that you can start getting back in control, then just reach out, just drop me a message. Let's have a talk. Let's just chat it through, see your situation. If we're a good fit, then who knows? We might be able to work together. I've got space in my diary. One-to-one coaching, I've got space in my diary still. So there's a place for you, but I can't do it for you. Do the soul searching, get honest, get a little bit of clarity, and then come and message me. And we can have a call as early as next week to really start talking this through and have a game plan for the next 7 weeks, let alone beyond that. Thanks for joining me. I always appreciate your time. I hope you felt this is useful. Hope you found this of value. Go away, have a great half term, do some reflection, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.